Safety of medical feeds additives in food chain. Ito ay naglalaman ng mga mahalagang impormasyon kung saan ito yung pumipigil sa mga nakakahawang sakit na dulot ng mga bakterya o mga parasite. The total global aquaculture production in 2012 reached 66 million metric tons, of which approximately 63% were from inland aquaculture. Around 88% of the world aquaculture production is conducted in Asia. Fish and other organisms in aquaculture may be subjected to a wide range of diseases, some of which are mediated by viruses, fungi, bacteria, or internal and external parasites. For infectious diseases, for which a treatment is available, veterinary drugs may be administered by bats or by inclusions of the therapeutic agents in the feeds. So, yung mga isda o ibang mga organism sa aquaculture ay maaaring mapasailalim sa mga iba't ibang uri ng sakit. So, ilan sa mga ito ay ang mga virus, fungi, bacteria o mga parasite. For particularly valuable fish such as brood and ornamental fish, injection may occasionally be used. So sa mga particular na isda katulad ng brood o ornamental, yung brood ito yung grupo ng mga nature individuals na ginagamit sa aquaculture for breeding purposes. Yung ornamental naman is yun yung mga isda na colorful, katulad ng mga goldfish, molly, o kahit ano pa. In some cases, as for tilapia, hormone-like substances may be included in the feed to provoke sex reversion in an early life stage. Furthermore, some feed additives termed probiotics or immunostimulants are included to enhance the immune competence of cultured organism and thus favor the prevention of infection. These chapters give an outline of medical feed additives in the aquaculture, the use and nature of such agents, as well as the safety of treated organisms and the food safety of the products from aquaculture organisms. Antibacterial agents. The use of antibacterial agents included in the feed remains largely unrestricted in aquaculture in several countries with high and growing aquaculture production. A relatively small number of antibacterial agents are registered for use in aquaculture in Canada, the United States, and Europe. These include amoxicillin, fluorophenols, and various agents in the tetracycline, quinolone, fluoroquinolone, and sulfonamide groups. Information on types and amounts of therapeutic agents used in aquaculture throughout the world is not easily obtainable, since only a limited number of the nations provide reliable, detailed, and accessible statistics on consumption of this drug. So, antibacterial agents, ano nga ba yun? So, ito yung pumapatay ng bacteria, depende sa kung ano yung type ng bacteria na mayroon yung isda. Ginagamit ito to prevent microorganism katulad ng ng bacteria. Ang paggamit ng mga antibacterial agents na kasama sa feeds ay nananatiling hindi limitado sa mga bansa na may mataas na aquaculture production. So, next is anti-parasitic agents. A range of external and internal parasites pose a challenge in the aquaculture of fish and other organisms. The main ectoparasite problem in the farming of Atlantic salmon is the salmon loss, whereas their forms are the most challenging in the parasite. So, ano nga ba yung anti-parasitic agents? So, ang mga parasites ay isang malaking pagsubok in terms of aquaculture ng isda at iba pang organism. Ang tapeworms ay ang pinaka-challenging na endoparasite dahil ito yung isang infection na nakikita sa isda. Ito ay nakaka-infect din sa tao kung halimbawa ang isda ay hindi naluto ng maayos na na-contaminate na sa isang parasite. So, anti-parasitic agents, ito yung panggamot sa mga infection na dulot ng mga parasites. Ectoparasitic agents. Ectoparasites are treated using anti-parasitic agents dissolved in water, bath or treatment, or administered orally via feed for systemic distribution of the drug in the fish. So, ang ectoparasite ay ginagamit ng mga anti-parasitic agents na inahalo daw yun sa tubig. So, ang tawag din is bath treatment. The main feed administered ectoparasitic agents belong to the avermectin group emamectin benzoate and distributin synthesis inhibitors or difluvenzuron and tefluvenzuron. So, ang pangunahing feed administered ectoparasitic ay nabibilang sa ivermectin group at ang distributin synthesis inhibitors. So, ivermectins ay isang grupo ng insecticidal compounds na original isolated from the soil microorganism Streptomyces abertomyces. Emamectin benzoate is a semisynthetic ivermectin registered under the trade name. Slice used to control infestations. So, ito yung nagkocontrol ng infestations ng salmon lice or on Atlantic salmon. Emamectin benzoate is administered orally via feed. So, ang nito is 50 milligrams kilogram fish daily for 7 days and ito ay idinidistribute through blood papunta dun sa skin ng isda which in turn are consumed by the salmon lice. The drug is highly effective against pre-adult and adult lice and prevents the maturation of Chalimus to motile stage. Owing to slow elimination from the fish, emamectin benzoate offers protection and further settlement for a minimum of 4 weeks for sensitive lice. In past years, however, instances of reduced sensitivity have been registered in invertebrates. Ivermectin acts on muscles and synapses in the peripheral nervous system, causing a paralysis and eventually death of the parasite. Hormones. In some species of finfish, females exhibit higher growth rates than males and also achieve larger size. So, ilan sa mga species ng isda, yung females ay mas mataas ang higher growth kaysa sa mga lalaki at na-achieve din nito ang mga malalaking size. For the other species such as members of the tilapia group, the sex may be reversed to male as they show better growth rates than mixed-sex population. So, para naman sa ibang species, katulad ng sa grupo ng tilapia, parang yung sex ay kabaliktaran sa lalaki kasi mas pinapakita nila yung better growth kesa sa mixed-sex population. This mainly due to saving of energy for egg production. O yun, so dahil dito sa pag-save ng energy para sa egg productions. There are several methods for producing all-met tilapia fingerling batches. These include sex reversal or fry using a synthetic male androgen administered in feed for 28 days post-hatch. In countries in which chemical sex reversal is prohibited, spawning female tilapia with tilapia males that have 2 Y chromosomes or interspecific hybridization of female Orionomys niloticus and male Oriochromis eurus is sometimes used. So maraming paraan yung sa pag-produce ng mga lalaking tilapia. Kasama nito ang mga sex reversals ay mga fry gamit ang male androgen. Probiotics and immunostimulants. Probiotics are defined as microorganisms administered to enhance the health of an organism, whereas immunostimulants are biological molecules added in the feed to increase general health, in particular the ability of the host to withstand infections. The probiotic organisms of relevance for aquaculture include a range of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, as well as some bacteriophage, unicellular algae, and yeast. The immunostimulants may be peptidoglycans or lipopolysaccharides isolated from bacteria or glucans isolated from yeast cells. So, yung probiotics ay tumutukoy sa bilang ng microorganisms na ginagamit upang masaayos yung mga kalusugan ng isang organism. Kung saan, ang immunostimulant ay biological molecules na idinadagdag sa feed upang madagdagan or mas tumaas yung kalusugan at kakayahan ng isang host para makaiwas siya sa mga infections. Safety of oral medicals in farm aquatic organisms. So on this, we have emamectin benzoate. Salmon-fed medicated feed at up to 356 mg kilogram fish per day for 7 days exhibited no mortality, and based on the results, a no observable effect concentration of 173 mg and kg fish per day could be determined. 3 freshwater species exhibit similar sensitivities with NOC values of 48.7 mg L 96 hours for rainbow trout, on Corinthus micis 87 mg liter, 96 for bluegill sunfish, Lephomis macrochirus, and 156 mg for fathead minnow, Pinefield's Promelas, in two studies by Olsbix et the toxicology of the anti-salmonellous drugs diflobenzuron and emamectin benzoate on Atlantic COD, Goddess morha, and Atlantic salmon, Salmosalar, respectively was assessed. Fluvencerons, no significant histopathological abnormalities, mortality, or effect on appetite was observed in Atlantic salmon treated with a dose of difluvenzuron at 33 times the recommended therapeutic concentration for 21 days, 5 times the recommended therapeutic concentration of teflubenzuron for 3 times or recommended treatment resulted in no observable effects on Atlantic salmon. The acute oral toxicity of tefluvenzuron in Atlantic salmon was determined to be 1,500 mg kilogram. Praziquantel, no observable toxic effects were registered in Atlantic salmon treated with 10 times the recommended dose. The LC50 values of 55.1 and 63.4 mg liter were found for the golden shiner and grass carp, respectively, with 24H highest non-lethal concentrations of 50.0 and 60.0 mg or liter in prey of the African sharp-toothed catfish, and LC50 of 13.4 mg and liter could be determined. Consumer safety, the application of therapeutics in aquaculture ay sakop ng national and international legislation. So ayon sa current legislation, bacterial agents sa nitrofurane group and chloramphenicol ay pinagbabawal sa lahat ng pagkain na gagawin para sa mga hayop. Ang nitrofuranes ay nagpapakita ng iba't ibang uri ng lason na nakakaapekto sa tao, kasama o kabilang ang mutagenic, genotoxic at carcinogenic properties. Kaya ang mga agents sa grupong ito ay hindi maaaring i-applied sa hayop, kabilang na ang sa aquaculture. Environmental safety of per-oral drugs in fish farming. Orally administered drugs enter the event associated with organic materials such as uneaten medicated pellets and pieces, and as water-soluble fraction if eliminated via gills and urine. Whereas the water-soluble fraction is diluted in the surrounding water, much of the drug associated with organic material will settle on the seabed or on the bottom of the pond. So, kung saan daw yung tubig ay diluted sa paligid, karamihan sa organic materials ay naninirahan sa seabed o sa ilalim ng lawa. The amount of drug reaching the sediment depends on the fraction of uneaten pellets and the pharmacokinetic properties, absorption rate, metabolism, and elimination pathway of the drug in the fish. If the absorption and metabolism are low, most of the consumed drug will be eliminated as the parent compound by the liver and bile to the intestine, and if readily associated with particles rich in organic content, the facial particles may contain concentration of the drug higher than the original pellet. Legislation, monitoring, and control. Several national and international regulations have been developed to control the use of veterinary drugs, monitor residues, and ensure food safety for food, including aquaculture products. So, ilan sa mga bansa o sa international na regulation ay binuo upang makontrol ng paggamit ng mga veterinary drugs at masubaybayan yung mga pagkain kabilang ng aquaculture products. The immense import and export of aquaculture products has led to a need for more consistent regulations. The Codex Alimentarius Commissions, established and administered by the Food and Agriculture Organization and the WHO, aims to harmonize food standards and guidelines. The guidelines are only recommendation and have no direct regulatory authority to protect public health. Maximum levels of residues of a pharmacologically active substance that may be present in food without presenting any harm to the consumer have been established. These levels are expressed as MRLS. MRLS must be determined before veterinary drug is approved in food-producing animals.